Well, it's a perfect final for me, obviously, with my previous allegiances, let's say. But I was delighted, obviously, that Liverpool went through. I thought they were the better team, definitely, across the two games. And I thought that the result probably flattered Roma when you look at the overall aggregate score. Let's say, what was it, 7-6 or something?
Yeah.
But I thought Liverpool were a better team. And it's been an amazing year, amazing season. And okay, Real Madrid might be the favourites going into the final with all the experience that they've got, reigning champions and all that, but Liverpool is such a unique team. It's and the better team they play against, I think the better they play.
Yeah, I guess as underdogs, it sets up nicely for Liverpool. Real Madrid will be the favourites, they're the defending champions. How do you see that game going?
Yeah, well, Real Madrid can play in any way, really. They can beat a team 5 or 6-0 quite easily. I'm not going to do that to Liverpool, but they can also grind out a result 1-0 or whatever. They're the masters of winning. They understand how to win. They're experienced. Liverpool are probably more one-dimensional in terms of they attack and that's pretty much what they do. There's no point defending when you've got an attack like they have. So I think you know what's coming from Liverpool. They're going to have loads of energy, they're going to close down high, they're going to try to press, and they're going to try to win the ball back high and obviously score. Whereas Real Madrid, it's a little bit more difficult to predict. I think they'll adapt to the way the game is going more so than Liverpool. Liverpool will come out with one aim. When you pull a shirt on and you wear a certain badge, you do feel the history of a club. You know what's expected and you feel the expectation, let's say. So if you're playing for Liverpool on a European night, you just know there's magic in the air. You've seen it, and it just gives you so much more belief that it's going to happen. And I think similar with Real Madrid, as soon as you put that shirt on, you know that the Champions League is where you need to be focusing on. And even when they were going through a rocky period at the start of the season, I said at the time they'll win the Champions League. They've got the players that that just come alive or just know how to do it when they need to do it, and they've just got that experience. You just can't buy that experience. Now,
you played the Galactico era. It kind of dawned on me that you pulled on that famous white shirt alongside Zinedine Zidane. Now, his story thus far as a young manager, 3 European Cups on the bounce. When you played with him, Michael, as great a player as he is, we all know how good he was. Could you have ever envisaged that he'd go on to become the manager that he's become?
I don't think so. I didn't have him down as a certain manager in the future, I must admit. He kept himself to himself. He's quite, don't get me wrong, a lovely chap, and you talk to him, he's easy to talk to. But in general, he had that demeanour in the dressing room when, there's a few people laughing and joking, he'd be sat there just taking everything in and assessing the situation. So I didn't think that he'd be one to be so, do what a manager has to do and lead from the front. So yeah, I was slightly surprised, and I'm even more surprised to think only a few months ago people were talking about him getting sacked. He's won 2 Champions Leagues on the bounce, and he's obviously in the final of the 3rd one. It's quite amazing, the start to his career.
It is amazing. Let's just finish on this Champions League final. How do you see it going then? If I was to sit here, what are we, 3 weeks out from it? Liverpool, are they going to get a 6th European Cup?
I find it really hard to predict, and and I know people will have Real Madrid down as the favourites, but I think it is a toss of a coin. I just think Liverpool is so so perfectly shaped for knockout football, for one-off, football, and particularly against good teams. Liverpool have struggled. Why they haven't won the league this year is not because how they do against the big boys. It's how they, it's breaking down, defences that just sit back. Coutinho is obviously a miss in that he could unlock a defence, whereas the team now are fast and high pressers and nick the ball and go. The only teams that give you a chance are the good teams, really, that play it around. So I think the better the team that Liverpool play against, the better they play, and that's why I give them a chance. You mentioned there, and I promise this will be the last one on Liverpool, Philippe Coutinho. In many respects, have Liverpool actually improved as a team since selling him on? You've mentioned there that the style's tweaked a little bit since his departure. I think as a one-off team, I don't think it's harmed in one-off games, but as I said before, throughout a league campaign, you're going to play teams that aren't as good as you, that just come to spoil, and that's where Liverpool have struggled against teams that sit back, and then you've got to find a bit of guile, because having loads of pace is irrelevant when the opponents are defending on their 18-yard box. So then you need someone like a Coutinho to open up a defence, and that's where Liverpool have lost the points this year, and that's why they won't be champions. But keep going back to it, one-off games against good teams. I don't think there's a better team in the world of football than Liverpool.
Well, you've been one of those individuals. You've scored in front of the Kop, the Stretford end, the Gallowgate end. You've scored in the Burnabout. Does the feeling in business, making money, being successful in business, does that compare to scoring a goal in front of those adoring fans?
No, I've tried a lot of things. I can never find the same feeling as scoring a goal. I think I'll be searching forever. No, when you score a goal, when you play football, that adrenaline rush, you just can't get anything that matches it. Playing all right, but scoring a goal is something else. And whether your horse wins or whatever, the only thing that you can compare it to, but it's not the same feeling, but pride in seeing your own kids doing something well. It's almost you want them to do better than you did, or you prefer to swap places to be proud of your children. But that's more of a pride thing. There's nothing like the rush that you get of scoring a goal, unfortunately.
You speak about that rush. I will take you back, 1998 World Cup, when you burst into everyone's conscious, that goal against Argentina. Memories of that goal. We're obviously on the cusp of another FIFA World Cup. Michael, do you still relive it? Can you remember getting the ball into your stride and doing what you did to Chamot, and I think it was Carlos Roa in goals, if memory serves me correct.
Yeah, and Ayala was the centre half as well, wasn't he? So it was a good team back then. But I don't often relive it, let's say. But I get asked. It's nearly 20 years since that goal, which is amazing. But yeah, it was just what happened back then, I suppose. I used to do that. I used to do it in training. I used to score goals all the time. It was just, as an 18-year-old, no fear. Just get out there and just give me the ball, I'll score type of attitude, and didn't have any. I had a lot of respect for people, but I had no fear of anybody. Once I crossed onto a pitch, I thought I was the best player in the world, and that was what I thought. Whether it was right or wrong, doesn't matter. You think like that, you've got half a chance. But I didn't think about scoring the goal. I think Beckham passed me the ball, and I had no idea. Obviously, when I was taking my first touch, I was just trying to get past my man, and as soon as I got past him, I took a decent first touch, and then I lifted my head up, and my eyes lit up. I thought, there's a goal here, or a chance of a goal, and the rest is history. 2003
Ballon d'Or winner as well, playing in the colours of Liverpool Football Club. This year Mohamed Salah is being discussed, as I appreciate we're only in April, we're now into May. Can he go on from what you've seen? Does he need a Champions League? Obviously the World Cup will play a large part in who will end up with that award, but from what you've seen of him, scoring goals for fun at Liverpool Football Club, could he be the next one to win and end that duopoly?
Yeah, I mean, the way he's playing, put it this way, he's got the ability, and he deserves to win it, let's say. It just depends on what medals he wins at the end of the season, because you can have a great season. If you win nothing, then you're very unlikely to win it. You need a good World Cup, or you need to win the Champions League. But if Liverpool win the Champions League, he'd have a right chance, I think, because he's done it for Egypt. He's had a good year for his national team, and of course he's been sensational for Liverpool as well. So just icing on the cake to win a trophy, i.e. a Champions League, then he'd have a right chance. Yeah.
I've got to ask, England in the World Cup, an awful lot of people writing them off. I've got a funny feeling they're actually going to do all right at this World Cup. I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to win it. I think they might do well. Do you share that optimism, or do you think it could be a bridge too far?
Well, I think if you look at the positives and negatives, the positives are certainly the draw. I mean, we've got a draw that we should go through, and then the next round again is in a pretty weak group. In theory, we should get into the quarterfinals. I mean, and if we don't, it'll be pretty disastrous, but we've been there before. We got knocked out by Iceland. So, not putting anything past us, but in theory, we should be in the quarterfinals. We've been very lucky with the draw. And then 3 games. Anyone can win 3 games type of thing. So that's the positives. On the negative side, I was looking at the squad lists the other day. A Brazil team looks a bit juicy. So does Belgium and Spain and Germany, and we're not one of the best squads. I'd say there's 5 or 6 teams that are better than England, but the best team don't always win it. And we've seen that in the past. Greece won the European Championships. Portugal have won a big one recent times. Yes, good teams, but are they the best in the world? possibly not, probably not. So expectation is low. Maybe that's a good thing for us, and obviously I'll be supporting the lads, but I'm not holding my breath, let's say that.
We tracked down heavyweight champ Anthony Joshua
and asked for his views on Sports Tonight.
It definitely changes your life for the better.
Chris, are you sure he was talking about our show there?
Well, they won't know until they subscribe to our podcast
For free?
on iTunes.
Sports Tonight, the show that changes lives.
Possibly.